Okay guys, I know I am a little bit late to the party, but I'm finally back from all my vacations, and today we have gotten a new ban list that will be in place on August the 31. So basically in over a week at the end of this season, and this is I would say by far the biggest ban list, the most impactful ban list since I started playing Master Duel back in December. So let's just hop right in and discuss. So we have cards to be unlimited. As always, I mentioned that in Banlist before. I like the way that Konami handles this. They are basically freeing different archetypes to be better, but mostly archetypes that are not that strong at the moment. So I really like that I am basically for unbanning cards that limit an archetype that is basically a rogue deck. So we have Nadia Servant from 2 to 3. This is basically used in Dogmatica. So they have more access to one of their most important spell cards. We have Ancient Fairy Dragon from 1 to 3, which before was forbidden, but the time has shown that it does not have that big of an impact in Master Duel. So I think they were like, okay, let's unban this thing and basically put it to 3. That's fine, I like this. Also goes to the Orca Magnet. A friend of mine recently built an Orcus deck. Really nice. Orcus not a big oppressive strategy that needs nerfs, though obviously it was a strong deck in the past. I like that they released these things from the ban list to make the deck playable again. This will obviously not push Orcus to be one of the best decks in the game, but that's the point. You can now more easily play Orcus. It will be stronger, but obviously not oppressive. I like this. Love it when they unlimited cards, or they unlimit cards from archetypes that are basically rogue, or maybe something below even. So yeah, really cool. I'm really for that. Now it gets interesting. Cards to be semi-limited. Blaster Dragon, Rulers of Inferno from 1 to 2. Yeah, I mean, we have it at 1 here. No deck plays this guy. Obviously, this is part of the how was it called? The dragon deck. The blaster deck. I don't know what this was called back in the day, but this was one of the strongest decks with all the dragons and the little dragons. I must have, I'm not quite sure how this deck played, but yeah, safe to say that this will not change a lot of things. Then we have the first really interesting thing, Pot of Extravagance from 3 to 2. This would definitely hurt a Labyrinth. I'm not sure if this is a hit to Labyrinth. I'm also not sure why they keep hitting the pots. We have Pot of Prosp at 1. I think there's also another pot that is limited or semi-limited. They keep hitting the pots. Not quite sure why. I think the pots are totally fine, totally okay. But it is what it is. We will have to see how this affects Kashtira. We basically, I think, will play 1 Pot of Prosperity, 2 Pot of Extravagance. So yeah, that's not too bad. Once again, that's funny to mention, a little hit for Flu on the Reese, who were basically playing triple pot just to be more consistent. And now a Labyrinth, you, I guess, will play 1 Pot of Prosperity and then 2 Pot of Extravagance, and then still have 3 pots. You could also play a Pot of Duality, which is also not bad. But yeah, not the worst. Definitely weakens the Furniture Labyrinth build a bit, which Labyrinth didn't need. Not an oppressive deck, but yeah, I'm not quite sure why we did this here. Maybe it's like future side to something that will happen in a few months when we got new cards. Then we had Luster Pendulum, the Draco Slayer. So we recently got a new Draco Slayer support. Obviously, I have never seen the deck on the ladder until now. Until now, it's basically only Kashtira, this weird Kashtira decks that are running around. But yeah, I also like this. Put one of the stronger cards of the archetype to 2 here, so the Draco Slayer deck can become more strong. Obviously, it makes also a lot of sense from a business perspective, so people can or will continue to open the new pack with the new Draco Slayer support. And now for the things, for the cards that really make this ban list. Yeah, we have cards to be limited. Branded Fusion from 2 to 1. I mean, thank you for the 30 crafting points there, but what is going on? Why are they hating Branded so much? I mean, Branded is a strong deck, but it's definitely not an oppressive deck. It's not a deck people complain about. And that's just the case because in every deck that we play in Master Duel, I mentioned this before, we are playing triple Ash Blossom. So as long as we play triple Ash Blossom, Branded Fusion is just not that strong. Or the Branded deck can never be super strong, can never be the strongest deck in the room, in my opinion. Even if we get the new support in the future, Branded will simply not be the strongest deck. there is no need to further like hit this deck. I'm not quite sure. I mean, at the end of the day, they may have the win rates of the deck, but I still think that Branded is not one of the decks with the highest win rate. I don't know why we are doing this here. I mean, as I already said, thanks for the ultra rare crafting points, I guess. But other than that, guys, let's just leave Branded alone. Branded has a tough enough time already with Ash being in every deck, so not quite sure why we are doing this. This is a bit sad. I don't like this. That grass looks greener from 2 to 1. This obviously makes 60 card builds way less effective. I'm not quite sure if I like this change. I mean, this is a strong card for sure. And the question remains, with this being at 1, is it even worth running 60 cards right now? I mean, there are some decks that can put in 60 cards more easily than can other decks. Definitely a big hit considering this affects all 60 card decks basically. Could be the case that we see them less on the ladder now. I think I like the change, which mainly is the point because the 60 card decks are oftentimes decks that play pretty oppressive strategies. Now, we can remember the time when everybody was running the Ishizu punk piles that would mill your deck in one turn when you activated Max C, or basically also milled your deck in one turn even if you didn't activate Max C. So crazy stuff there, and definitely enabled by cards like that. Grass looks greener, so not the worst. Kelbeck, the Ancient Vanguard from 2 to 1. Thanks for 30 crafting points again, I guess. I like this change. Kelbeck should have definitely gone to 1 on the last Banlist when they had these Telement changes here. Nothing to say there. I like this. Kelbeck, definitely the worst card, the most oppressive card of the 4 in my opinion, because of the secondary effect to bounce something back to the hand. I think special summon monster from the extra deck. So really nice change here. I love it. Give me my crafting points. Sprite Jet from 2 to 1. Once again a hit to Sprite Jet. And let's just look at the next change here. We have Swap Frog from 2 to 1 also. So putting Swap Frog from 3 to 2 is not that impactful, but putting Swap Frog now from 2 to 1, that basically is because now you obviously can still send the Ronin Toad in, but you cannot, for example, revive the Swap Frog with your Sprite Elf and send another Swap Frog because there is no other Swap Frog. So now basically I think Sprite decks will stop playing the Swap Frog and Ronin Toad engine because now it's not good enough, I think. We have to see how this turns out, but also Sprite Jet from 2 to 1. This is a hit for Sprite because Jet is somehow the most important Sprite card because this gives you access to your starter, this gives you access to your smashers or your double cross. So really impactful hit here, but I still think that the Sprite engine in general, we still have Elf, we still have the Sprite Sprint. I still think that the Sprite engine is pretty strong. We can still go Sprite Sprint, Angler, and then Double Beaver, and this works in a lot of decks. So this is not the end for Sprite, but Sprite is just such a strong engine that I think it's okay to hit it a bit more. But there comes a point where we have to like keep a bit on the back foot and don't make more hits here, because there will be a point reached some time when the deck or the engine will be dead then, but I think it's okay for the Sprite engine. We can still combine it with powerful decks. And now for more big cards, we have number 86, Heroic Champion Rongomioid from 3 to 0. And yeah, I mean, I hate this card when it appears and just wins the game on its own. I like this. This is a toxic strategy in my opinion, an unfun strategy which should not be part of Yu-Gi-Oh! In my opinion. So I really like this from 3 to 0 change. It's a bit unfortunate for all the people that crafted the deck around Rongomioid, or how this guy is called, because there are also a lot of other ultra rares that you need, not only the guy here. So if you have the deck, then that's pretty bad for you, because you only get your crafting points back for one of the number 86 and not the other cards. And then we have Ageru, the Ancient Sentinel from 1 to 0. Crazy here. I wasn't expecting them to really like forbid the Ishizu cards, but this is nice. This together with the Kelbeck hit is obviously a big hit to tier elements, together with the last card here on the list that is pretty impactful, tier element Merly from 2 to 0. And we will talk about Block Dragon and Phantasm in a moment, but yeah, crazy stuff. So tier element really got heavy hits here, and Merly is potentially one of the worst hits. I mean, Rhinoheart would have been worse in my opinion, Rhinoheart from 3 to 0, but Merly is the worst of the fusers, to be sure. I mean, okay, you can use Halfness to play in your opponent's turn, but Merly gives you the opportunity to just normal summon mill 3. Also has this combination with the kit colors, also has the combination with Sprite Sprint. You can only send Merly here. So I think this is one of the biggest hits for T-Elements in terms of which of the fusers you could hit, and we will definitely see T-Elements being on the down foot, especially with us getting more Kashtira cards. I mean, if we are now getting the rest of the Kashtira cards, then you will basically not see T-Elements on the ladder anymore for a while, I guess, until they get some other support cards or maybe something back from the ban list, because then it's just too weak. And I think with this hits here to T-Elements, we will definitely see the deck being broken, and I would really say that come next season, we will not really see this deck on the ladder as much as we see now, together with the Bystials, together with Kashtira Fenrir, which Kashtira Fenrir is also a big hit or a big problem for the deck. So really impactful change here. Crazy stuff. T-Element will definitely be weaker now. These are like really big hits for T-Elements, not like what was there before, like Saliek to 1 instead of 2. That was nothing, but this is really impactful. Then we have Block Dragon from 1 to 0. I don't like this change because this is really a core card for Adamantipator, and now without the Block Dragon, it's really tough. This was the core card of the deck that you really wanted to get. Obviously, having 3 of these or having 1 of this, not that big of a difference, because you basically would always search this from your Gallant Granite, the XYZ monster here. But yeah, this really hurts Adamantipator, and we weren't seeing the deck on the ladder a lot, so I think we will see it even less. It's a bit unfortunate because it's a cool archetype, a bit combo heavy maybe. Maybe some people were like, okay, I cannot break their board if they really establish, and maybe that's not a lot of fun for some people, but I don't like this change. This basically kills a whole archetype, but we will have to see what the people come up with in terms of replacing Block Dragon, which you can't, but you can definitely build the deck a different way. And then there's Phantasmal Lord Ultimo Bishbalkin, which I remember this card. I'm not quite sure. I can't remember. I saw some decks play this and make this combo, which then could kill your opponent on 1 turn. So not quite sure which core deck played this. Let me know in the comments if you know that. But yeah, this is, once again, this is some sort of first turn kill card. I remember that being done to me like 2 times. So once again, I think first turn kills should not be in the game. So this is a healthy change. All in all, I'm pretty happy with the ban list. This is a really impactful one. And there will be a lot of different decks running around next season. You will definitely see less Branded, definitely see less T-Elements, also see less Sprite, and we will see what will take their place. Also obviously depends on what we will get in the next pack. So yeah, that's it for now, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think of the ban list. I hope you have a nice day, enjoy your games, and we will see each other in the next one.